Do you want to know what lefties, the lefty collectivists, what they really think about democracy, majority, or mob rule? Well, look no further than the never-ending string of articles that have come about from their media propagandists after the Brexit referendum, right? I mean, just look. I mean, if you're paying any attention at all, which I suspect if you're watching this video, you probably do. I mean, you're seeing constantly just a non-stop string of articles by leftist political propagandists about how the referendum that took place, now they're screaming how unfair and how now I guess democracy sucks, right? When you're on the losing end of democracy, when you're not part of the majority. Well, lefties love promoting majority or mob rule, but it only works when they're winning, when they have the largest gang, right? If someone else has the larger gang, all of a sudden leftists no longer promote and support democracy. Isn't that amazing? What an amazing coincidence when you're on the losing side of a decision that is completely dictated and controlled by mob rule, right? When you're on the wrong side of that coin, apparently democracy sucks. Well, all that really means is that lefties are acknowledging, not knowingly, right? They're only acknowledging because they're crying little whiny bitches and fucking idiots. But what they're really acknowledging throughout this whole thing, and what I love, what people in the liberty movement, people who actually espouse and promote true libertarian and voluntarist or logically consistent principles and fundamentals, is they're actually proven, once again, all they're doing, this is how stupid people, how collectivists are. They're so stupid is they don't even know it, because they would never give people like myself any leeway or prove that we're right. But because they're such idiots, they do it, and they're doing it now on a regular basis, and I can just sit back and watch them spew the shit and point out their hypocrisy, right? I love it, man. I gotta tell you, I love it, because the illusion of leftists, of collectivism, that illusion that those are the people that stand up for human rights, it's now being shattered. That delusion's been being shattered, and that glass has fallen to the ground, and there's not much left anymore, right? Other than cleaning up the mess. Kelly McFarland, which, by the way, this is a National Post article. I mean, there's multiple articles, though. There's the CBC. I mean, there's been tons and tons of tons, but this one's desperately seeking alternatives to Brexit. Brexit financial mess, Don Pittis. I mean, once again, and these men. Actually, this Don Pittis, as much as I wish it was just feminists that were espousing this kind of bullshit, right? But no, there's believe it or not, lots of beta males like Don or Kelly McFarland. Don and Kelly. Is that a coincidence? I'll leave that up to you to decide. But these collectivist men, these men are, well, I mean, they have the male genome and the XY chromosome or whatever, but to me it's other than in an article you would think they were women, and to be honest, but they're all it's just I'm embarrassed. I'm ashamed for them. Part of me kind of revels a little bit. I'm always honest with you people. Part of me actually revels in the fact of proving how fucking idiotic and how stupid these men are. But at the same time, because I'm a morally compassionate human being, I kind of feel sorry for them, to be honest with you. But objectivity tells me that I can't let my heart lead the way. I'll still feel bad for them a little bit, but objective reason and logic has to take some part of that heart of the equation, right? I can't just feel bad for them and let them espouse the kind of bullshit they espouse just because I feel sorry for them. I got to hold them to account. I have to point out the hypocrisies and the inaccuracies and the bullshit they espouse. Kelly McFarland, listen to this one. This is a headline, by the way. A referendum on electoral change in Canada after the Brexit vote. Fat chance, right? A referendum on electoral change in Canada after the Brexit vote. Fat chance. That even that headline alone saying is like, would that article or would that headline? Think about what that headline would be if the state camp had won. Democracy wins, right? Power to the people. The big fist thing, right? Shaking the fist, right? Or, power to the people. Look at that. But the people chose to do something that these lefties, the collectivists, don't like. So it's like, well, we don't like you anymore. Democracy sucks. We're not ever going to try to practice true democracy in Canada if we know that we can't win, right? I mean, that's really what it all means. I mean, come on, man. That's really what it means. These collectivist fucks, like, God damn it, well, we can't hold a referendum. We can't allow the people to speak about how they're ruled, right? What if they don't go along with what we espouse? What if they actually stand up against us? We the oppressors, what if we lose our voice? Well, we can't allow that to happen. That's what they're fucking saying. I mean, read between the lines of the rhetoric, and that's really what they're saying is, the only time democracy is good for lefties, if it suits their narrative. If the pitchfork-wielding mob are on their side. If they're against them, they're like, oh, look at how oppressive, right? This is the problem with politics. I mean, even some on the right, the conservatives, the crony conservatives, or the progressive conservatives. I'm thinking about that oxymoron in Canada. But anyways, they would espouse that kind of bullshit too, because yeah, if you're not the biggest gang, if you ain't got the mandate to dictate and control everyone else, well, all of a sudden that sucks, doesn't it, right? Hey, well, we shouldn't have a system where the majority get to rule over the minority, right? That's just wrong, unless we're on the winning side. I'm sorry for laughing, but oh my God, it's actually quite entertaining, but as disturbing as it is, I mean, what the fuck, right? That's why we watch comedy. That's why comedy, some of the best comedians throughout history are anti or apolitical and talk about this very kind of stuff. It's because, like, look, why do you think George Carlin was so popular, right? Because he points out the obvious hypocrisy of all the bullshit, right? But anyways, if there was ever a chance Justin Trudeau's liberals would consent to hold, listen to this one, a referendum on their plan to junk Canada's electoral system and replace it with something new and unfamiliar, it almost certainly died Thursday when the Great Britain debacle emerged. Yeah. Britain's vote on Europe contained all the elements that frightened Trudeau and his advisors in the first place. Referendums are unpredictable. And there's nothing a central planner hates any worse than unpredictability, right? Allowing free market selection, allowing humans to actually use real freedom and their ability. Like I said, man, they don't care about freedom, not one fucking bit. They are hard to control. They are hard to control. I mean, just listen to this bit. Let me read this little bit again, because I love it. I love it, man. This is always, when they're writing these things, they don't even realize that this is going to stay. This will be around for a long time, thanks to people like myself. I'll bring this shit up even 5, 10, whatever, however long I live. I'll bring this up and prove time and time again, because these idiots think that most people forget. Well, I mean, actually, no. Most people will forget this stuff. I won't. But I'll bring it up. I'll remind people on a regular basis just how idiotic this bullshit is, right? But Britain's vote on Europe contained all the elements that frightened Trudeau and his advisors in the first place. Referendums are unpredictable. They are hard to control. They're saying you have to be able to control the outcome if it's going to mean anything. So if you can't control the outcome, so in reality, they're saying the people that even promote democracy, that tells you right then and now the only time they promote democracy is if they can control the outcome. If they can give the public a perception of majority or mob collective decision making, but only if it works to their advantage. Come on, what else has to be said? They upset the most carefully laid plans and spoil cherished agendas. There's a real chance you might lose. And losers hate because, losers lose pretty much most of the time. And it's like, well, damn it. That means no matter what we do, we're always going to lose. So I don't like it when I'd love to challenge Gretzky, well, in his heydays or whatever in a shoot off, right? But it's like, well, if I know he's always going to beat me, well, I don't want to challenge him. Well, that just means that you're a self-admitted loser and you don't want to challenge anyone because you know you're going to lose. Fucking losers. Referendums take democracy and put it in the hands of the public, and despite what they may say, politicians are deeply wary of the crazy ideas that can slip unobserved into the unsuspecting minds of the public. If the British vote proved anything, it confirmed that people form opinions from all sorts of crazy reasons. It's all crazy. They don't like immigrants. They just like change. They feel neglected. They're unimpressed with their leaders. They're leaders, right? Or maybe they just got out of the wrong side of the bed that morning and feel in the mood for a little creative disruption. Jesus fucking Christ. This Kelly, and you know what? This Kelly McFarlane, as much as I wish it was a feminist bitch, it's an actual man. Wow. He had, as far as I know, I guess he has the male chromosomes, but a man, well, yeah, I'll leave that up to you to decide. The overwhelming majority of experts advise Britain's public to reject the scare tactics of the Leave campaign and vote with their heads. Academics, business leaders, financial gurus, respected pundits, the President of the United States, they all said it was a bad idea to quit Europe. Not just bad, but self-defeating. Abandoning Europe would lead to fewer jobs and higher taxes, and possibly the breakup of the kingdom itself. Their advice was loud and clear. Don't do it! It's a bad idea. Ooh. Liberty's scary! Ooh, freedom is scary. Independence, sovereignty is scary. That's what these fucks are saying. They're just a bunch of pussies is what they're saying. They're self-admitted pussies that if they can't control the narratives, they're like, let me just go hide in a cave somewhere. Dumbass. Like, that's just dumb. No. Actually, some of them are smart. But they just, like I say, you can be smart somewhat, but if you don't get to control and dictate the narrative, it's like, they did it anyway. God damn it. Damn democracy, right? Hey, I'm with you on that aspect of it. Too bad you fucks are late to the game. Way late to the game. Canada's Democratic Institutions Minister Marion Moussa and Liberal House Leader Dominic LeBlanc must have shared a mutual reaction as they watched the results. If this is what happens when you hold a referendum, let's not hold any referendums. Sorry for all this laughing, but you know what? It's so comedic and entertaining on the surface. What else can be said? It's just pointing out the failures of these idiots. It's becoming commonplace and comedic. I'm sorry. I'm fucking sorry if that's the case. But here's the picture. Look at it. You can pretend it doesn't exist, but it's there, like it or not. The Liberals were reluctant to give Canadians a vote on electoral reform in any case. In a poorly received press conference in May, Monsef and LeBlanc sought to argue that no such thing was necessary, claiming that the 39.5% mandate Trudeau's government received last fall justified whatever new voting system they might choose to embrace. So yeah, of course less than 40% should be able to dictate and control. Jesus Christ. Oh, man. LeBlanc, the more experienced of the two, tried to sidestep queries, suggesting it was premature to even discuss the possibility. But Monsef dove right in, proclaiming that our commitment to end the first-past-the-post system was clear during the election campaign, and it was therefore the will of the people that a new process be adopted. And by the way, I'm not defending the will of the people, just so you know. I mean, yeah, mob rule, I'm not a defender of or a fan of mob or majority rule. I'm just pointing out the hypocrisy of these fucking idiots that love it when it works to their advantage, but hate it when it don't, right? I mean, just the level of hypocrisy, it's busted through the ceiling. Rather than hold a plebiscite, they pledged to organize a series of town hall meetings to gauge the will of the people. It's far easier to stage manage debate in a room of polite townfolk than to let them loose with a pencil and ballot behind the screen where no one can see what they are doing. It's also much easier to hear the message you wish to hear and come prepared to hear, and will convince yourself you heard no matter what signal others may claim was sent. The Liberals have previous experience with the dangers of unbridled democracy. It was under a Liberal Prime Minister that Quebec came within a percentage point of voting to leave Confederation in 1995. I mean, that was so close, it was whatever. But why all these decisions? I mean, why is it that Canadians are like literally split right down the middle? Is that really? I mean, think about that. Is that truly legit? Is it a male-female thing? Because, I mean, I think male and female, the propagation of the species is pretty close to half and half. But why? What other reason could it possibly be that people are split down the middle, 50-50? That's very strange, isn't it? Because all these referendums seem to happen where it puts it right in that very middle part where there's only a very small select few that get to decide the outcome. Weird, no? A result that finally prompted Ottawa to draw up some stiff rules to ensure it wouldn't happen again. Scotland's 24 vote on independence served as an unpleasant reminder of the emotions that can be unleashed when the future of the country is up for grabs. Though the pro-British side won that contest handily, the Scots were back again in the wake of Thursday's Brexit vote, pledging to take another stab at it. Yeah. It's unlikely the Trudeau Liberals need more convincing in any case. They were already facing a tight timeline if a new voting system was to be in place by the time of the next election, as they avowed. They knew the dull details of the abstruse alternatives they have in mind would be difficult to sell and might lead to Canadians sticking with the system they know, which after all has worked pretty well for 149 years. Yeah, it's worked real well for the ruling classes. The last thing they needed was a chance for the public to resist being rushed into a decision, ruining their vision of Liberal government stretching endlessly towards the horizon. The Conservatives may continue demanding Liberals give Canadians an opportunity to make clear their view on electoral change, but the odds of it happening got a whole lot worse as of last Thursday. If that upsets you, blame David Cameron. I mean, just listen to that shit, right? And let me just read a little bit of this. Desperately seeking alternatives to Brexit financial mess, Don Pittis. Suddenly, even people who voted to leave are looking for a way out of the Brexit Morrises. As if the first one didn't get them into enough trouble, Britons are calling for a second referendum, a third if you count another Scotland vote, to leave an increasingly disunited kingdom. People who voted to leave are saying they didn't realize the implications as the nation is. So no matter how you look at this, even if you say that, oh, well, the people made a bad decision, so now we need to create another referendum to correct that decision, you're still saying that they need, the propaganda had to be espoused properly or enough that you could promote one side or the other. And if the losing side loses and they don't like the outcome, well, let's reinvent that so that we can propagate a whole new message, a whole new narrative. Because the details that we espoused, we were hoping for one outcome and it didn't work. So we got to revamp and reinvent our message, our narrative, so we can get the proper outcome we want. That's really what they're saying. It's like, but after a weekend of political chaos, help may be on the way, as those who dislike the result begin to propose political moves to circumvent the referendum. What a whoa, right? Whoa. For people who believe in strong democracy, comments by some of the people who voted to leave indicate that they really don't know what they were voting for were devastating. So, no matter how you look at it. So you're saying that a referendum, look at how long the British people had. This was months and months and months in the making, right? So people had the ability, but that's the thing, because the people didn't choose to go the way of the political propagandists like Don Pittis, the lefties, the collectivists. They're coming up with a million excuses as to why that this was a complete sham and why we need a do-over, right? It's like if you challenge someone in a race, or in whether it's sports or anything, you challenge someone, or in a spelling bee, a debate, or a math quiz. If the person loses, they're saying like, well, we want to revamp and recreate the rules, give us another chance to do all that, and then maybe this time I could beat it. Well, no. When you challenge anybody in any situation where there's going to be opposing sides or views, it's up to the people to make sure they've done all that work prior in the first place, to make sure that they got the result or put forth the message that they wanted or that they thought was necessary to get the result they wanted. So it's not like that the left and the right or the centrists or anyone else in between didn't know that this was going to happen, didn't know that the referendum wasn't going to happen. They knew it was going to happen. Losers fucking hate to lose, all right? Well, yeah, genuine losers. People that win and lose, like people like myself, I've won and lost. I don't win everything, and I don't lose everything. There's been some times when I've won, most times I win, and sometimes when I lose. But I take the times that I lose as learning experience, grow from them, and hope that I can better myself as a result of that. But a lot of people, they want to cry and whine like little babies or bitches and say, I don't like the fact that I lost. That's what the lefties are representing. That's what the collectives are representing after the Brexit vote, which is why, once again, they're not helping their cause, they're only hindering their cause, and which is why people are going to turn away and reject this goddamn populism, this collective bullshit, for that very reason. So you people aren't helping yourself, and I definitely won't ever try to help you, because I know how much of a detriment you are to everyone else, to every individual that lives not just in Canada, the US, or the UK, but all around the world. You people are such a fucking detriment because you believe in this goddamn bullshit. But all you're doing is showing the rest of the world now that you're a bunch of whiny bitches and motherfuckers when you lose. Ron Paul, that's another thing, actually, before I close off on this, he made an article as well pointing out this hypocrisy, this level of hypocrisy. The Ron Paul Liberty Report. Oh, so now democracy is not so great after all, by Chris Rossini. Like I say, this is for the Ron Paul Liberty Report, so maybe it wasn't Ron Paul himself. But read through this article by Chris Rossini. If I can remember, I'll put the link to this article and the rest of them in the description of this video, so that you can look and read through all this stuff so you can come to better terms of what all this shit means. But yeah, democracy, mob, or majority rule, the lefties are now proven. The only reason why they promote and espouse that shit, if they know they're on the winning side of the equation. The minute they're on the other side of that equation, they all of a sudden hate and reject that very premise, right? It's Canadian Libertarian, and I love liberty.